directors, officers, and members of the Financial Executives Institute of the Philippines, my co-panelists, Marikina Second District Congresswoman Stella Kimbo, Dr. Karen Rimo, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Thank you for inviting me to your International Women's Month Forum entitled Empowering Excellence, Women Leaders Shaping Good Governance for a Sustainable Future. It is commendable to witness FINEX's consistent support in championing gender equality and empowering women in leadership roles. Significant strides through past programs such as the 2019 Connected Women's Elevate Training Program and more recent initiatives such as the 2022 Forum centered on effecting positive change through inclusion and focus on critical sustainable development goals, as well as yesterday's event themed Inclusion through Women and Water, underscore FINEX's unwavering commitment to tackling pressing issues and driving meaningful impact in our society. Looking back on my career journey, it is clear that it has led me to where I am today, a public servant and a regulator, particularly in banking and finance, a field where I spent nearly 3 decades in the private sector. Joining government service wasn't part of my original plan. All I ever wanted was to be a banker, although someone may have said, you're also a central bank. But a phone call from then Secretary of Finance, Carlos Dominguez, in 2017 altered my course. He asked me to be his chief of staff, a role which I held for 3 years. Then, in 2020, amidst the early challenges of the COVID-19 pandemic, I was appointed to the Central Bank Monetary Board for a fixed 6-year term. Being offered the chief of staff position came as a surprise, especially considering it was the third time in my career that I held such a role. Interestingly, my first stint as chief of staff was for Citibank Manila's country treasurer in 1997. And yes, the treasurer was a gentleman. Just 7 months before the 1997 Asian financial crisis struck the Philippines. 11 years later, I accepted the role of chief of staff for the Asia Pacific trading head at Citibank Singapore, also another gentleman. Within a month of assuming this position, Lehman Brothers collapsed, and the 2008 global financial crisis shook the markets. Fast forward to my third tenure as chief of staff at the Department of Finance, the COVID-19 pandemic ravaged in March of 2020. Drawing upon the lessons learned from the 2 previous crises, I recommended the leveraging of the positive aspects of the Troubled Assets Relief Program, TARP, for the Financial Institutions Strategic Transfer Act, FIST, and guide bills. Notably, TARP was a significant tool employed by then U.S. Secretary Hank Paulson and New York Fed President Tim Geithner to address the global financial crisis. And here's a footnote in history. FIST here in the Philippines was passed into law in February 2021. Reflecting on these experiences, a former colleague once remarked that my 1997 chief of staff role was a practice run. The 2008 position was a dress rehearsal. And finally, the 2020 role with the Department of Finance was the real show. Having navigated through the challenges posed by the 1997 Asian financial crisis, the 2008 global financial crisis, and the COVID-19 pandemic, a major takeaway that I will always bear in mind is this. Take decisive actions to address unusual market conditions, but ensure that these actions are time-bound. It is essential to establish a strategy for normalization and a clear plan for executing the exit strategy. Very much words that I live by until today. Transitioning to the public sector brings its own set of nuances. My appointment to the Monetary Board of the Central Bank represents the culmination of all my past experiences. In this role, I am entrusted with the opportunity to craft policies and contribute to shaping history. I take this responsibility with utmost seriousness, fully aware of the potential ripple effects our decisions may yield. As the sole banker at the current board, I advocate tirelessly for banking reforms and initiatives that are relevant to the times, utilizing my extensive background in financial markets to drive impactful changes. I am delighted that my recommendations regarding the following have been supported by the Monetary Board and the Bankers Association of the Philippines. First, reverting the US dollar peso trading hours to its pre-1997 schedule, opening trading from 9 to 4 p.m., aligning the Philippines with majority of trading centers. And second, amendments to the currency rate risk protection facility, just to name. During my stint in the private sector, specifically in banking, I had the opportunity to participate in management or leadership programs that included an assigned mentor. From the 1993 City Management Associate Program to the City Global Senior Women Leadership Program in the mid-2000s and Standard Chartered Bank's Shadow Management Program, I found the mentoring sessions priceless. The nuggets of wisdom shared by my mentors have served me well throughout my journey, and for that, I am always thankful. Because of the invaluable experience gained as a mentee, I fully support mentoring programs and now embrace the opportunity to serve as a mentor myself. Throughout my career, I have lived by these three timeless tenets: embrace lifelong learning, honor the wisdom gained through experience, and remain agile in navigating change, always mindful that it opens doors to opportunities. Allow me to recount this memorable experience as it embodies all the above tenets which I just mentioned. When I served as Chief of Staff to Secretary Dominguez, he told me that he wanted to see tomorrow. Contemplating on how to execute this vision, drawing on my years of experience as a treasury sales professional, I reached out to Jack Ma, founder of the Alibaba Group. I met him during his visit to the Philippines in late 2017. Jack Ma graciously accommodated my request, and his team subsequently organized a 3-day workshop at the Alibaba Business School in Hangzhou for the Philippine delegation. The sessions offered insights on how technology can revolutionize businesses and economies at a grander scale. We were amazed to witness innovations such as a cashierless fast food restaurant where payments were made through QR codes. Even observing the manner of how beggars would beg, with the QR code displayed on a pail. No coins, no cash, left a lasting impression on us. And this was in early 2018. Indeed, a truly transformative see tomorrow experience. Little did we anticipate the enduring impact of technology, which is here to stay for good. Lastly, as we celebrate Women's Month, I would like to share these thoughts. The art of navigating the delicate balance between work, family, and me time is a reality regardless of geography and industry. The order of priority depends on individual choices and circumstances, and that I respect. While obstacles will always persist, their impact often varies, and the defining aspect lies in how one turns them into opportunities. I eagerly anticipate a future where discussions will now focus on how men and women can both complement and compete on an equitable footing in the workplace. Thank you very much for your